Hi, my name is Miriam Platzer, and this is my book, Owen and the Old Tortoise. I created this book together with my friend Padma Bhatt, who did the lovely illustrations, and had the idea to write this story after my father sent me an article from Kenya about a little hippo who had been lost after a tsunami or separated from its mother and taken to an animal rescue reserve where it was adopted by an old tortoise. This is a true story, and I thought it was a unique way to talk about what friendship and family can be. Once upon a time, in the land of Kenya, lived a baby hippo named Owen. Owen had a big mama hippo. Everywhere Big Mama went, Owen went too. Big Mama knew where to find the most delicious, succulent grass. She knew where to take a bath on a hot, hot day. And she could find the perfect shady spot for an afternoon snooze. All the other animals knew that if Big Mama was on her way somewhere, Owen was sure to be close behind. Every morning, as the two hippos made their way to the watering hole, the elephants trumpeted hello. The giraffes bowed their long necks, and the monkeys waved and screeched from the trees above. Owen was a happy hippo. Following his Big Mama around, he felt safe and secure. But then came the tsunami. No one knew exactly where it came from or why it came. But it came. The oceans and rivers let out a roar like 1,000 lions, and waves crashed to the shore. And Owen was swept out to sea. In the end, the ocean had mercy and gently placed him on a sandy bank in Mombasa. As Owen gathered his wits, he realized Big Mama was nowhere to be seen. Owen was afraid, and he sat down where he was and cried. He felt sad and lonely. He missed his Big Mama, and for many days Owen did not move. One day, a snake was passing by and mistook Owen for a big stony rock. The kind that's perfect for slithering under to get away from the hot African sun. Ooh, boy, did that give Owen a start. All of a sudden, Owen realized he was hungry. He decided he would have to go in search of some delicious succulent grass all on his own. He wasn't quite sure where to look, but he mustered up the courage and headed off into the trees. A little later, as Owen was wandering around, he ran smack dab into a ranger. The ranger realized that little Owen was lost and led him back to the park's animal hospital. At the hospital, people poked and prodded the little hippo. They wanted to make sure that Owen wasn't hurt, but it felt ticklish. In the end, they said, "Hey, little hippo, you look okay, but you better stick around to make sure that you grow up to be a big, strong hippo someday." Owen went outside and looked around. He felt tired and confused, and he was still hungry. "All I want is some delicious succulent grass," he complained out loud. He jumped when he heard an old croaky voice from behind him. "Then follow me right this way." Owen turned around and came face to face with an old tortoise. At first, Owen was scared. The tortoise was old and wrinkly, but his eyes twinkled and he seemed kind. Owen told him about the waves and how he had lost Big Mama. "I can't find her, and I haven't eaten in days, and I have no idea where to find delicious succulent grass," he said, as tears watered up his eyes. Well, young fellow, I happen to be over 100 years old, he said. In all those years, I've had plenty of time to find the best places for getting delicious succulent grass. Turns out the tortoise needed a lot of time. He was pretty slow moving, but Owen was glad to have the company, and so the two headed off in search of some delicious succulent grass. Owen liked being with the tortoise. He was old and rickety, but he was wise, and he knew where to find the most delicious succulent grass. Where to take a bath on a hot, hot day, and where to snooze in the shade of a tree. Owen loved to lean against the sturdy, smooth shell of the tortoise. While Owen lay there, the old tortoise told stories about his life. Owen and the old tortoise spent many days together, and eventually they began to think of each other as family. At first, the other animals laughed. What a funny pair! The rangers couldn't believe it. A hippo and a tortoise? And the tourists who visited the park pointed and took pictures. Yet there was something touching about a little hippo leaning against the shell of an old tortoise. And slowly but surely, everyone got used to the idea and life went on as it had before. The monkeys playfully chased one another through the trees, the giraffes stretched their long necks to munch on leaves, the elephants sprayed their backs with mud to cool off under the hot African sun. And no one thought it peculiar anymore that these two, a little hippo and an old tortoise, had found each other for company. The end. That's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.